there is no objection from the planning board, I'd like to move those until after the other business is complete.
No objection.
Thank you. With that being said, we will move to the public hearing for the Sokokis Trail marijuana growth only facility. And I would like to open that up. If the applicant would like to give an overview of this project for the public, that would be appreciated.
Sure, I'd be happy to. Andy Morrell from ADJOURNMENT Engineers, here to discuss 746 Sokokis Trail. There's a plan up here for those in the public. 35-acre parcel zoned AR. There's an existing house and garage on the site. Existing garage located here, existing house located here. The first phase or the first aspect of the project is to convert the existing garage for the grow facility. That'll be done in this existing garage here. Second portion of the project will be to build a 96-foot long building located in this location here to support the facility. Parking lot is proposed over here in this location. We proposed 9 parking spots. The ordinance requires 7. We provided 1 ADA parking space as shown on the plans. The existing driveway is roughly 12 feet wide. We're going to be expanding it between 6 and 8 feet depending on the location to get to 20 feet wide to allow emergency access to get into the site. Some of the other aspects of the project, we've provided access to 3 sides of the building. Obviously, you've got access to the proposed building in the parking lot, and then access on either end of the building for fire protection. A dumpster is proposed in this location here between the existing garage and the proposed building for waste disposal. Utilities for the proposed building, there's an existing well located behind the building over here. That'll serve the proposed garage. A septic system that'll be located in this location down here in the corner. That's what this box is representing, the septic system for the new building. And underground utilities will come from the existing building over to the proposed building. We've proposed 2 wall-mounted lights on the proposed garage that'll illuminate the parking area. There is quite a bit of screening from Sokokis Trail. There's kind of a tree line that runs along the Sokokis Trail area down here. There's also some wooded vegetation that's located in this area of the site. Much of the improvements are going to not be very visible from Sokokis Trail based on the existing vegetation as well as the grades. There's quite a bit of grade difference from where the building's proposed to Sokokis Trail. Stormwater for the site is handled in 2 different ways. Stormwater from half of the roof from the proposed building and the parking area is collected into a catch basin located here and discharged down under the driveway to a plunge pool where the runoff will continue to flow in this general direction. We've also put in a small vegetated ditch back here to direct some runoff into this location where we proposed a level spreader to handle that runoff. No adverse impacts will be created to abutting lots or any downstream conditions based on this stormwater design. We did have a planning board meeting previously where the application was deemed complete. We had a site walk this evening, which I think went very well. We talked about a lot of different aspects. At this point, I'm going to have Jalen come up and talk about a few of the aspects that we talked about at the site walk this evening. Odor control, security, those seem to be kind of the highlights of the site walk. I just wanted to kind of touch on those. So yours.
Thank you. Jalen Archer. I'm the co-owner, brother, run business as far as what we're looking to do at a grow-only facility at the site. It seemed like 2 of the bigger things that we've seen as far as issues with other sites, as well as what some questions were brought up today, were access to the facility security-wise. So I want to touch on the fact that the facility will be considered a controlled facility. It'll be locked 24/7. There will be exterior lights that I believe we provided a plan for.
We did, yeah.
Security cameras as well for the interior and exterior of the property. Access is going to be, again, controlled. All employees will have background checks required by the state. The state regulates this heavily, as well as everyone will require a state-issued individual identification card to be an employee for the facility as well. You are required to be 21 for that as well. As far as smell, we're planning on doing charcoal filters throughout the facility. Typically speaking, the only part of the plant that is really odor producing is considered when it's flowering. There will be flowering rooms, obviously, because that is what we're doing. We're flowering cannabis there. So there will be charcoal filters placed in those that should be adequate for the facility.
With that, we'll throw it back to you.
Thank you. Would everybody else does anybody from the public have any comments or questions? Certainly, if you could state your name and go up to the podium so that it can be heard from everybody. I have people on Zoom that can't hear you from there.
Thank you. My name is Richard Davidson. I'm a butter to the proposed site. I appreciate the opportunity to meet at the site and have questions answered. Kind of in the aftermath, one of the questions that I had in looking at the site was the location of the septic system, which is directly on Route 5. So it seems to me with a 35-acre plot, it's occupying a very small area of that might be considered relocating that, so that would be one question that I had. Do you have several or just a few? I can give here to someone else, but that was my biggest one looking at the site here. I had other questions in terms of it affecting property value, other sites similar to that. I'm not sure if research is available to respond to that. But and the other question I had again was security. I would like to suggest considering a fencing, not around the entire property, but immediately adjacent to the building sites where the cannabis is being grown. So that it really does, when it says secure, it's not just security cameras, it's actually secured with a fence and some type of blocking.
Those are your three main ones?
Yes, as I look at it.
Security, septic, and what was this?
Property values.
Oh, value,
Property
thank
value.
you. Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Whichever one you'd like to adjust first.
We mentioned the septic system, I think, previously too, last time.
Yeah, septic.
Yeah, Jim Wersakas, the property owner. We had talked about the septic before. The purpose of putting the septic there, first of all, everything runs downhill, going to the lowest part of the land. But if for some reason we want to use this as something different, not to use it as this, it doesn't work out, then the idea is that you could put a house, a single or a duplex there, and the septic system could be used for that.
Is that the normal place you would put a septic
If he was,
system?
he should come in.
that
So we don't know who he is.
Because you can't.
Okay, guys,
Oh, I'm
I have
sorry.
people on Zoom that can't hear you unless you're at the podium. So if you have a question,
I'm sorry. He was just completely.
The reason for putting the septic system so close to the road is you have a 75-foot buffer. So you might as well put the septic system in the buffer because you can't build there. So that's the perfect place to put it. It doesn't affect anything else that you try to do.
thank you. Who's going to take on the security and value questions?
As far as value, it's hard to give a certain answer as to how it impacts people's property value. I touched on a little bit at the site walk that the unique feature of this property is the fact that it isn't very close to other abutting homes. Obviously, it's close to abutting properties because of the property line, but it doesn't sit in a residential area with numerous homes or a subdivision of any kind. But again, I can't really specifically speak on negative or positive effects on property value. For fencing, we're hoping that the buffer from the road as far as Sokokis from seeing the facility, as well as the buffer that's right in front of the building itself, will be adequate enough so that people don't know what's there. There are other facilities throughout the state that don't have fencing or barbed wire or gates or anything like that, and aren't required for those towns.
So, are you, as part of your security system, are you planning on having any door alarms for that will secure the doors when you're not working? So that would be tied to a monitoring system?
I don't know if we had that in our plan, but I know we had touched on setting something up with the fire department so that they are notified.
Well, I understand fire department.
Yeah.
I'm talking about
Security
of the facility and putting some kind of alarm system on the entry and egress points, so that when they're supposed to be secured, there's an alarm system that's associated with those, and that it goes to a 24/7 monitoring. I think that issue has been raised by the planning board before in comments on this.
Yeah, we can put that in.
Okay, can and will are two things.
Yeah, we'll put that in.
Thank you.
Or at least it's something we should discuss first before
Yeah.
making it a requirement.
Right.
Because myself, I don't think that we as a board have the authority to tell them how to handle security at their business. I don't think we've ever done that before. Just like we can't tell a homeowner that you need to install a security system, you need to install a fence. We've never done that before with a business or with any development. And I don't see how it's any of our business right now.
At the site walk, I think that was one of the biggest concerns was security,
Yep.
that the public brought up. And at least that's what I heard, and other than the smell. So I think that validated a little bit of what your concerns were. Am I saying that correctly?
Yes.
That was a big thing. So I don't know what kind of doors you're talking about, like with a lock and key, a punch pad, or how that's going to work. But if the building shut down at 5 o'clock and you're not having business at say 5 o'clock, what is happening at that point from there until somebody shows up at 8 in the morning? Is it monitored? Is it on an alarm? Is it, how do people know if someone's in there?
Yeah, so we had the security plan that went over a little bit as far as cameras, but nothing in the plan that we put in specifically stated that that would be tied to the police department.
Okay.
So if that is a request, then we will put that in there.
Okay. I think this is an attractive target. It's a high-risk environment, and I think that requesting security is not out of line.
And the planning board actually can discuss this later after the public has had their chance to speak. So if you'd like to, if the planning board members would like to note that for further discussion after the public hearing is finished, I'd appreciate that.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Is there any other facilities that are required to have a security system like that, contacting the police department directly, like a bank or any other type of...
You mean having a monitored security system?
Correct. Is there anything as far as currently that's required for that?
Lee J., go ahead.
Can't hear.
Unmute.
Sorry.
It's just old-time movies.
It's the first operation of its kind in Waterboro, and so there's really never been that type of an issue. I have worked on a number of these in other communities. The difference that we're facing, and I honestly don't know what the answer is that in the other communities I've worked in, they've had their own police department, and so they've been able to work it out to set the alarm system to go hardwired to the police station. Here we have a contracted sheriff. I'm not sure what the sheriff's department attitude, feeling is about having that, whether they do that or not. We will need to find that out. I do know from other security issues, the monitoring system works very well. The state requires that of these folks. and the state, I don't know about grow facilities, I know in the medical retail side, the state knows how many ounces of every type of marijuana they have in their store. It's weighed daily and reported to the state daily. I don't know what happens on just the grow side. I've never dealt with just a grow facility. I'm assuming the state regulates how many ounces or pounds are produced and how many leave and where it goes to. I'm sure they're tracking it. Maybe the applicant can talk a little bit about that.
I'd be happy to.
Go ahead.
The state does control as far as plant count, and I touched a little bit about this at the sidewalk as well. So the state issued individual card that allows you to conduct business as a caregiver is split into either a plant count, so how many plants you can have, or a canopy count. So they do regulate as far as how much you can physically grow. Also, as far as the actual weed itself, they do monitor how much is sold. So there is a specific, it's called a trip ticket system, where both parties have to sign, you have to keep records of that, and you do have to turn that into the state. So they will be monitoring and going over how much business is being done there, as well as tracking it.
So, I mean, there's two separate issues that we're talking about, but I think they, to some extent, go hand in hand in the sense that if someone were to break in, they would know exactly how much marijuana was taken from the facility, and would be able to have a better handle on what's going on with it. Now, security itself, to stop break-ins, that is certainly something that we need to find out or follow up with for the sheriff's department to see whether or not, I'm sure they've got hardwired systems for banks and others that may contract with them. So I'm assuming that can be done, but I have never had to do that because the other places that I've worked have had police departments, and so the police department has worked directly with the applicants.
I can tell you how it works.
Vijay, I was not thinking necessarily of hardwiring to the police department. I was thinking that you have a security vendor that maintains the 24/7, like ADT or some of the other vendors, something of that nature. But
certainly, that is certainly feasible. That could certainly be written in as a condition of the approval if you chose to do that, or if the applicant says he will do it, it's on the record that he will do it. He self-imposed a condition by stating that.
Thank you, Lee J. Dennis, do you have your hand up for right now, or is that an error?
No, I have my hand up.
it's like a mark on the screen.
Is it more? Okay, thank you. Yeah, because now it's over there. Okay, it was our control panel. It was our control panel.
I can quickly tell you how a monitored system would work.
Could you save that for when the planning board actually is in
Yep.
session?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I see a couple new faces. I don't know if there's anyone else in the audience that would like to, if they had any more, go right ahead. If you could introduce yourself, please.
Yes, I'm Carol Kussman. I live on Eon Way, which is right across the street. And I did not go on the sidewalk. So I'm assuming what I'm listening now, that all growth is within this building. Is that right?
Correct.
Yes.
No exterior growth, nothing outside.
And it's only growth? There won't be
No sales.
no sales?
Correct.
Okay.
Is that all you had tonight?
Well, yeah, I did, when you mentioned the property values, if that's going to affect us, that's not going to be good. And I have no idea how that would work.
Certainly.
Just a couple of questions to follow up on my brother.
Sure.
My name's
And
Robert Davidson.
You need to state your name again, though, please.
Robert Davidson at 14 Clough Lane, I'm in the butter. Just to address the question on the site, I overheard someone say that they were going to cut down trees along where the driveway are. And that would then open up a much better view of that location, the building and stuff like that. Any plans to adjust from that should be looked at. And the other issue is, as far as security is concerned, probably should have motion lights. So if someone does get close enough to the building, the lights come on, that will certainly help clear them away, and again, make you more aware of it. That's all I have.
Thank you.
There certainly will be some trees that need to come down based on the expansion of that driveway. As we saw at the site walk, I think they're relatively smaller sized trees. I don't think it will drastically impact the visual sight lines from Sokokis Trail.
Okay.
And then what was the second?
Motion lights.
The motion lights for security.
We will need adequate lighting outside for the exterior cameras, so we will have lighting outside.
Anybody else? Sure, go ahead. I'm sorry, I have some members, you have to go to the
Just an
phone.
immediate question. They're saying they're expanding on the left side of the road, driving in. Why not expand on the right, since that's really wide open? It seems common sense that they would need to eliminate the trees.
Thank you.
We were trying to avoid that side because the existing septic system for the existing house is over in that location, so we're trying not to impact that existing septic system, which is why we went on that side.
Anybody else that's present have any more comments or questions? Got gentlemen all set?
Thank you.
Thank you. David, for the record, is there anyone in Zoom on the public that wants to ask any questions? There is no one on Zoom. If the public has no further questions or comments, I'm going to close the public hearing, and we will continue with our planning board. Thank you again for your comments and your questions and coming tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the public hearing is closed. The next item on the agenda is new business. We have no new business. The next item on the agenda is old business, which will be the continued discussion on 74 Sokokis Trail marijuana grow only facility. I'm going to assume that the planning board members would like to discuss some points. Who is first?
Well, I will lead off.
I'll go by seniority. Go on,
There you
Dave.
go.
I do get the old guy award.
I'm close.
Yeah, not even.
I'm getting there.
Not even. I would like, as I mentioned before, like to see some kind of a entrance-exit monitoring for non-business hours, and that was electronically tied 24/7 to a monitoring vendor. It doesn't have to, I think we can avoid going to the sheriff's office, but some kind of level of that. I think that we need to make sure that we specify that odor control is an ongoing requirement, and that Michael can request reports, for example, as needed, but this isn't one and done kind of a, I don't want to see technology go in and then we do a Pontius Pilate and walk away. It needs to be ongoing. I do not think that we're in a position to discuss property value impact as a planning board. So we should put that aside and move forward with the question of does the zoning is the applicable zoning in place? Are there any other outstanding issues that require attention? I know Michael's been working with the developer to make sure that we had parking place sizing correct. And, if there are any other issues outstanding, then I'd like Michael to speak to that, if you would. Are there any other issues that are outstanding?
None that are outstanding at this point. We imposed a couple of different changes to the plan, the last planning board meeting. I believe that that's the new plan that's up on the board now. I have not had an opportunity to review that, but as you said, David, it's just, we need to add a couple of feet in the parking spaces to match the ordinance, and then there was the location issue, so I believe that the plan is good, but as far as the building, zoning, that is all appropriate. Everything is it's a very solid application.
I've got nothing more.
While we're on the topic of parking, in our ordinance, and I don't have the turning radiuses and the turning movements of the fire truck in front of me, but I do recall that it was mentioned that you cannot have a parking space and a vehicle in front of where the fire truck has to turn around, and requested that that parking space be removed and made it clear with either a chevron or some other way that no parking in that area would be allowed. So you have one ADA place. Well, I haven't seen any final plans. If you had changed it, I don't know.
No.
So if you had one ADA space and 7 other parking areas.
Okay.
If we're done with the parking,
Is Dave done?
Yes,
he's written it all off. So if we're done with the parking.
Wandered away.
Yeah,
As an older guy.
Ready.
okay, so your points and comments.
All right, great. And Dave, it's not about age, it's about your seniority on the board, so.
I see.
For security, a monitored system such as ADT or whatever they might use, the way it works is that if there is an alarm, whether it's a break-in or it's fire, the monitoring company will contact Biddeford Communications Center, which is our dispatchers, and then they will contact the sheriff's office over the radio, or they'll dispatch the fire department to have us respond to that. So that's how it works. There's no direct link between the security company and the sheriff's office. Everything goes through dispatch. I agree with Dave about real estate values. It's too speculative. It's nothing that we can even get into or should even get into. Are there going to be any signs on the building? No signage. Is there going to be a mailbox or something else at the road with an address on it, so that if the police or fire are needed to respond, we'll know where you are? We'll be able to find you?
Yes, there's a small sign up there now. I'm happy to do whatever you want. My plan is to have a nice old John Deere tractor right by the entranceway as well. That may have a sign on it.
Yeah, it's something
Not
that...
a sign, but a number.
Yeah, something that just says 746 Sokokis.
Yeah.
That's...
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's whatever,
That's how I found it.
whatever is, I don't know
Yeah.
if there's a size that needs to be.
I think there's a little size plate now.
Yeah, size and reflective, so that
Yeah.
at night, okay, great.
I was thinking, it's my daughter that's gonna live in the house, one of those lit up ones.
Right.
It says 746, because in case of emergency, it's my daughter.
Okay.
She's there.
Looking at your plan view from within your packet, is it possible to put a door on the back of the dry room? So this way there's a rear-facing egress. So this way you've got 2 in the front, but none going into the back. And your dry room, if there's anybody in there, they're 2 rooms away from an exit.
Yes, and we had discussed that for that reason. And in talking with the fire department as well. That was one of their reasons for wanting fire sprinklers, is there were no other egresses.
Right.
So yeah, we talked about it, that it might be a good idea for each room to have an egress in it, a second egress in it. Because any room, you could be in there doing something and not know what was going on.
Right.
Otherwise.
Yeah, and it doesn't just allow the people to escape, it allows the fire department to get in, into there as well.
I wasn't thinking that. I was thinking the other way.
I think that way. And finally, regarding odor, within your industry, is there a best practices regarding odor control? And if there is it possible for you to put together an odor control plan that you could submit with, that could be included with this application, that shows what steps you're taking to mitigate odor release from your facility into the environment? That way, if any complaints do come up regarding odor, the code enforcement office can look at your plan, go out to your site and see, are you abiding by what the plan says? And if not, they'll find you in violation or something, or have you bring it back up to where it needs to be. So
That's a question for Jay.
Yeah, absolutely, yes.
great, and I think that's all I had.
Okay.
The only question I had, and we talked about it, was the odor. And I know that the charcoal filters are supposedly the best for the scrubbers, whatever they're called. And you were at the site walk with Judy and Jim, and that was their concern. I noticed the people that were on Eon Way, that was their concern. I really think that if that's handled properly, as we were told, that's going to diminish a lot of the town's, or these abutters' issues. Absolutely. Is the odor.
Yes.
I'd just like to take a quick minute to speak to the odor control. I've done some extensive research, kind of looking for a threshold for us to look for the odor. Unfortunately, these charcoal filters, it's very vague. It's depending on the square footage, the usage, the CFMs that the air leaves the space, and it's hit or miss. And the more, unfortunately, there's no indicator saying when the filters are expired or a general time frame. There's too many variables. So for a finite amount of time while they're getting their hands around this process, we're going to have to be in constant contact to verify that we're not emitting too many fumes from this process. The one encouraging part that I did read in my research is that the performance of these filters have a pretty substantial impact on their end product. So if these filters aren't changed regularly and the air is scrubbed constantly, it can have a direct impact on their product, on their yield.
So it's in their best interest to keep these filters really clean.
To keep them clean and to keep the odor down.
Okay.
What's the standard of measurement for odor?
This is
and another number.
Yeah, it's not like sound where you've got a decibel meter you can go out with.
This is why I've spent a few hours just trying to figure out how we were going to, a few hours in a couple different days, trying to figure out if there was a threshold that we could develop to try to create that. And unfortunately, there's not. And these filters are kind of measured the same way. As soon as you start to smell carbon in the air outside of the building, the filters are beginning to become used up. So it's a scent thing, but I don't know if there's an actual way to measure.
Yeah, what you're talking about is an objective measure, whereas odor is very subjective.
Right.
That's the problem.
One at a time, please. Thank you.
So what is the expected life of a filter set?
From my research,
Yep.
a couple of years.
Okay. And Michael, your sense?
Well, my sense is that they need to be at least monitored every 3 months.
Monitored.
monitored to find out. It's basically, you would go do the sniff test, do a visual inspection of the filter to make sure that the carbon isn't clogged. It's a filter, so it's going to look very much like I would say it looked very much like an old forced hot air furnace filter. And as the filter becomes clogged, obviously it's nearing the end of its life expectancy. They have a couple different types where you can actually reverse the filter and you get a little bit more life out of it. But I will definitely keep a very close eye on it from the code office perspective.
Thank you, Michael. David, anything else? All set? Ed, do you have something?
Yeah, just want to make one last thing about the odor control plan, is that the applicant maintain a log within the plan noting the days that they are checking the filters, noting the condition of the filter, noting the date that filters are being changed, and noting the date and service that is done to the system should it ever break down or just for basic maintenance on it. That way the applicant has a log and they can clearly demonstrate that they are maintaining it to its optimum performance.
Deborah, I haven't heard from you. Are you all set? Okay.
I'm good.
Thank you. I actually drive, fortunately or unfortunately for you, past there on a regular basis. So there is a big chunk of trees being taken out on that one side.
Where are you talking trees coming down?
Just for the expansion of the driveway?
Not for the driveway, but you do have to, isn't that the turnaround for the fire engine?
Yeah, there's a couple trees that need to come down.
Small, probably 6-inch diameter.
Well, in all honesty, there's a lot of deciduous in there. And right now it looks pretty, everything's pretty hidden. The front trees help you along the roadway,
right.
But in the fall, you can look straight up.
That's the fall.
That's with leaves still on the ground, yes. I'm on the trees, yes. Yes. But when there's no trees, it does open up a little. I don't know if you would consider a little screening, maybe just not in the way of the fire truck, but just some, more deciduous evergreen type trees.
Well, one of the things you need to consider is that the land slopes down. So as you get away from where the fire truck goes, your trees are going to be, you can't plant, I don't think you could plant 25-foot trees, 50-foot trees to be able, because the building sits up higher. And it's a 26-foot building.
That's true. That's true.
For the way, that goes.
It was a suggestion, because I do know that gets pretty opened up when the leaves are off.
And when this is in full operation, it's not going to look any different than it does now. And that building's been there for 25 or 30 years. That's not a new building.
Yes. Yeah.
And the other building, the new building, is shielded by the existing building. So it's something.
Yeah, that was one of the things.
You're saying the exterior of the existing garage isn't going to be altered?
Garage doors on the front will go away. I think we're going to keep one garage door, get rid of one.
So that's pretty much the old garage is as except for those big doors.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're not
All
adding windows, anything like that.
The side facing Sokokis Trail is not changing?
No.
Okay.
No, not at all.
All right.
Other than maybe a door, if we were putting one to the...
Is that where he was talking? Okay, but maybe that could go at the back,
Yeah,
at the far end of the building.
another door.
Yeah.
I just wanted, if it's a small entry door, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's fine. Not a concern.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear from AJ.
Yeah, we will.
Okay.
No doubt. Is the planning board members done with comments and questions? VJ?
Yes.
And you can find out.
Do you have any recommendations for us? And especially because this,
I'm here for conditions of approval tonight, so I would think that if there's going to be any approvals on it, you're looking at several conditions that would include filters need to be inspected every few months. The applicant must keep a log of monitoring those and the shape that they're in every time that they're inspected. A monitoring system or alarm system to a private vendor for security purposes shall be placed on each door to the facility. A E911 street address sign needs to be placed somewhere where the fire department will be able to identify the property. And that, well, I was going to add the doors to the back of the building, to the dry rooms, but that really is more of a building code issue. And if they said they're willing to do that, but I think that's going to be more of a discussion between Mike and fire department and them regarding codes. So I wouldn't put that as a condition of approval. I think that's it. Well, that would include, I also include, since they haven't officially submitted revised plans yet for us to look at, I'd say that the applicant needs to expand the parking area on the final plan to ensure that 200 square feet is being used for each parking space. I'm assuming they've done that. The applicant provided a list of landscape materials to be used around the drainage areas. And the applicant provided a Knox box on the building for a fire department request. And I'd also add that no building permits be issued until the final plans have been redrafted and acknowledge all of these conditions on the plan and signed off on by code enforcement and myself.
cut off. Is there any, I myself would like to see a final copy of that plan.
So then if that's the case, then you as an individual don't have the authority to sign off on that. I would suggest that you're going to want to table this application tonight until you receive a final set from the planning board to review.
How does the rest of the planning board feel? Oh, Lee J, how does this application has been found complete by the majority?
Correct. That's why you held your public hearing this evening.
Correct. So we're not voting on a completed application because that's done?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Okay. So these are in addition to that?
Correct.
Okay.
These are the conditions of an approval if the board decides to approve the application this evening.
Okay.
Right, next we have to, the next vote's going to be, do they meet all the conditions of the ordinances?
Well, the findings of fact.
That's the findings of fact. Right, that's where the findings of fact come from.
Yes, and you get those after, at the next meeting.
Right, okay.
Angela prepares the findings of fact.
Yep. Thank you for my clarification. So, I'm the only one that would really like to see the plans or have a copy of those plans.
Well, we're all going to get a.
Are we all going to get them?
They have to do a
That's my
final submission.
question.
Yeah, they have to do a final submission.
At the last meeting, you guys.
I guess the question is do you want to see those as a board prior to approval of the application, or do you want to condition the application on no permits being issued until the staff, code enforcement, and myself review the revised plans and make sure that they've addressed all of the issues?
That would be my question.
And my suggestion is that we should go ahead and approve this plan with the conditions noted and subject to submission of the final plan for review by Lee J. and Michael.
So the conditions that Lee
we just
just
discussed, filter plan, inspection on a log, monitoring access with an alarm contractor, and E99 street sign, the expanded parking, landscaping materials, and Knox boxes. And I think we can, I think we can move this forward.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Okay, hold.
If somebody's talking, we can't hear it.
No,
Angela is trying to...
We're trying to catch up.
I'm getting the motion down.
So do you want me to put, did I put that?
What's the
in
motion?
form? I'm not sure I put that in.
Yeah, there's no motion on the floor.
One person at a time, please.
Just as an FYI, well, I guess David kind of suggested it, but I really haven't heard a motion for approval
Yeah,
with all
Not
the
yet.
submissions and a second.
so that's where we are now. So I would,
Okay, Angela, are you all set yet?
Yeah, I just need somebody to put into words.
David,
so
would you like to make a
I will
motion?
make the motion that we approve this application with the conditions previously noted by Mr. Feldman that include filter plan, inspection records, and a log to be maintained that require the installation of appropriate monitoring access alarms with a approved contractor or an appropriate contractor, that E99, E911 street signage be installed to the satisfaction of Mr. Kilpatrick and Mr. Feldman, that the parking expansion to meet the prior discussion be completed in the final plan, that the landscaping materials to be used in the drainage areas be fully disclosed, and that Knox boxes be attached to the facility.
Lee J, that's basically everything in your conditions, correct?
Yes, and those could be put down in more specific wording for Angela tomorrow.
Thank you. With that all being said, may I have a second?
I'll second it.
Angela, when you're ready, could you do physical vote?
Deborah Burrows,
Yes.
Edward Zelman,
Yes.
Lori Anthony,
Yes.
David Christensen,
Yes.
Diane Gray.
Yes.
Motion passes.
You're approved.
Thank you.
You are approved. Got your work cut out for you.
Now Andy goes and does his job.
That's right.
At least you don't have to come back.
Thank you.
Good luck, guys.
Did you see that you started at 7:30?
Thank you.
Thank you.
I've got a really smart border collie at home that could be your sniffer. And we can talk about
The nose, like I can, honest to God, and I drive by there 10 times a day, I'll let you know.
You have a lot of people driving around with their head out the window trying to get that second hand.
wait till you get a fire alarm.
Okay.
I know,
Hey, everybody, we still got a meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So old business has been completed. Are there any communications or miscellaneous items?
Yes. Two things. First off, don't forget, next meeting is election of officers. Unless you choose to put that off, we do have 2 new board members coming on. I don't know whether you want to have that election construction next meeting or not, but if that time of the year is coming up. And secondly, the governor's emergency is being completed by June 30th, which means that we have 30 days to go back to normal meetings, which means everybody in person. I'll caveat that, however, by saying that, well, I've got two things to say about that. One is that there is a piece of legislation in Augusta that's making its way through the process. I don't know how it exactly will play out, but there is something to allow boards to continue to Zoom if they want to. There's been a lot of discussion. Gary can actually fill in some blanks from Maine Municipal Association's monitoring of it, but which boards would be allowed to operate like that, which wouldn't. They're still having those discussions. Can the planning board, for example, have a hybrid meeting or not? So just be on the lookout for that. So things may or may not change, or may give you an opportunity to continue to do this if people feel comfortable doing it. The other piece of that is it's only a short period, but even if we go back to full-time meetings, at least the first meeting in July, I will not be present because of personal issues. But after the 15th, I should be available for in-person meetings with you folks again. And I'll leave it at that. I see Gary looks like he's going to say something.
No, he's not. No, he's not. Thank you, Lee J.
That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Lee J. Dennis, did you need to add anything, or are you all set?
All set.
Thank you. Meetings adjournment.
Minutes?
That's next. We do have minutes. Did everybody get a chance to review the minutes of May 5th, May 19th, and June 2nd? Does anyone have any additions or corrections that Angela doesn't know about on those minutes? I have nothing on the 19th. I have nothing on the 5th. On the minutes of June 2nd, Angela, after, at the last page, after it says Ed made the motion to adjourn to enter into workshops, we did not enter into a workshop that night. So it was just a motion to adjourn. June 2nd, yep.
Okay.
And I know it says items needing signature. We had discussed signing the minutes, and we no longer need to do that.
So do we want to change that on the agenda? Or is that, I mean, we could leave it, because at times, like the findings of fact or the plans, we could leave that.
Yeah, I mean, we could leave it like that. You could just restate it that signatures required for any findings of fact or subdivision
Yeah,
plans.
we could make it subjective to each individual agenda.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know, as far as the minutes being there, they don't need to, because we're not doing that anymore.
Right.
But yes, if we have findings of fact or subdivision plans, you can put that down there. That's fine with me. I don't know if anybody else has any.
Fine.
Okay. So, that's all.
tonight is Deb's last meeting. She has decided to end her term. Tucked over in the corner, we have Clyde Smith, who was accepted last night as a new planning board member. So welcome, Clyde. Deb, we will miss you.
Thanks, Deb. Thanks, Deb, for everything.
Yeah, thanks for your input, Deb.
I've enjoyed it.
I didn't see anything on the review of the findings of fact. Did everybody get a chance to review the findings of fact on Ivory Hill Subdivision?
Yes.
Lee J, don't we have to approve those?
I do.
We have to vote on those, we have to vote on those.
Sure if they were on the agenda or not this evening.
Yeah, it's not on the agenda.
It isn't.
Well, it sort of is, because it's under items needing signature.
Oh, it is under that.
So, in a way it is. Can we add that to the agenda tonight if everybody has reviewed it?
You can, there ought to be a motion and a second to add it to the agenda, but you can do that, yes.
Okay. Would everybody like to do that?
The applicant or anybody is not required to be present for that approval, that part of the approval or signature.
I would just suggest that the findings of fact on Ivory Hills subdivision should be postponed because it needs to be rewritten, right? In terms of...
Well, we can't review it until it's on the agenda.
Right, no,
and then we review it.
But we've already made a point, and Angela noted that there was an error in a cut and paste on that document. So I don't even think we discuss it until that is resolved. I would just simply...
You're talking about the error at the top of page 2?
At the bottom of, and yes, bringing the bottom of page 1 and the top of page 2 into balance with a, yeah. So I would not want to be even signing the document until it's recast in an accurate manner.
If I can say, the only thing that's happening is that Angela's going to be taking that jurat out of it, but it has no impact or effect on the actual findings of fact, which is what we'd be voting on. The final form of the document is going to be changed by taking that jurat out, but the findings of fact are going to stay the same.
I agree. I'm just simply saying if we're going to sign the document, then the document needs to be accurate.
The only one that has to sign it would be Lori, and
Right.
then she can I can adjust them. You guys, in the past, you have accepted them, made the motion to accept them as corrected,
Okay.
and then Lori comes in.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to accept them as
No,
correct.
I'll make a motion that we add it to the agenda.
Okay.
That is what I need. Thank you.
I was just waiting.
Ed has made a motion to add this item to our agenda, so we can discuss it first. Now I need a second, so to add it to the agenda.
Yes.
David has seconded the motion to add it to the agenda.
Have to do a roll call vote.
Yep.
Deborah?
Yeah.
Edward?
Yep.
Lori Anthony?
Yes.
David Christensen? Diane Gray?
Yes.
So this item is now on the agenda and can be discussed. Has all the members reviewed the findings of fact for Ivory Hill subdivision? Are there any comments or corrections that need to be done to the Ivory Hill findings of fact?
None new, none that haven't been noted.
But just for the record,
For the record?
what's been pointed out to Angela is at the top of page 2 to remove the jurat.
Two of them.
Yeah, there's two
Yes.
of them.
Yeah.
And the statement that Lori.
Yeah,
Has
that
the
the chair
authority to do
has
all
the
of that.
authority
Yep.
to sign for everyone. That way,
Right.
we don't have to wait for a lot of signatures. Yes,
I move that we approve the findings of fact as written and distributed
as written and corrected.
and corrected. Well, the findings of fact are correct.
The document is not, there's an.
I'm not saying to approve the document, I'm saying to approve the
Okay,
findings of fact.
Okay,
Second.
And David has seconded.
Deborah Burrows,
Yes.
Edward Zelmanow,
Yes.
Lori Anthony,
Yes.
David Christensen.
Yes.
Diane Gray.
Yes.
And I'll be in when you, just let me know when they are done.
You come in after lunch, everything will be ready.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Unless there's something else.
Unless you want to adjourn? The last item on the agenda is adjournment. Ed,
Yeah, make a motion that we adjourn?
David has seconded it.
Deborah Burrows,
Yes.
Edward Zelmanow,
Yes, and Deborah, you take care.
Lori Anthony,
much.
Yes.
David Christensen,
Yes.
Diane Gray.
Yes.
It's adjourned, motion passes.
Take care, Deb.
Thank you.
Lee J, thank you for your help and advice.
Good job, everybody.